All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Channel 2 here of our Qualifier Cups, the EU Challenger Cups of Season 1, starting off on both channels. So if you're here on this one, we've got ourselves Gecko versus Watchin' Weebs. Ready to go. See Taco on Thursday and Lanzan in there. So you might notice here that indeed it will be a 3v4, unfortunately, for the moment, because subs not allowed. Apparently, one of the players, from what I understand, having some sort of hardware issues. So this was already expected. I'm not positive this will last the entire match or the entire cups, but for the moment, because of the rosters being locked in, that is unfortunately what they're going to roll with. So, you know, we're going to roll with it just as well and see how it goes for them. It's going to be the first shot going in. However, almost saved, in fact, looked like, but will be 2 points on the board for Watchin' Weebs. So running with that roster of Bad Elmo, Dave Stan, Steffo, and Hamsterbull. A couple of my favorite names, if nothing else, all integrated up in there. So on this first launch, I mean, a minute in, we'll see how it goes. Now, if I do recall, my memory serves, this actually had happened in one of these matches as a, nice three from Steffo. Hits off the backboard there. But as I recall, this actually did happen in one of these Gecko and Weebs matches before. I mentioned these two teams, they faced off against each other quite a few times over the course of their short tenure in Season 1. You know, getting integrated into the league about halfway through, maybe even later, in fact. And playing each other 3 times in 1 week. And then they played each other again just in that last week, I do believe, week 12. So just a lot of interesting stuff going on that end. And the series has been close every single time, even in one of those games that was also a 3v4 for a while. From what I recall, it was still a pretty good match. So as that shot goes off and right back out to the rebounded hands of Steffo, he's going to look for that pass instead. A nice hit from Hamsterbull off of the assist from Steffo. So up 7 here. And this is a little bit of what we were talking about just in that pre-show on Channel 1. In terms of how cool it is to see that these teams coming in, despite the fact that maybe newer to competitive play, they're still making the right plays. They're looking for those passes right there, looking for the shot. And this is going to be a very hot start coming in from the blue side with Watchin' Weebs. And because we didn't get into it, or we got into it pretty quickly by the by, this is indeed Palidore here on Channel 2, and So Much for Subtlety is doing camera work for us as well. So shout out to him, and nice block from National Agency on that note. So hold on, National Agency going for some stees, and you know what? That's been a kind of constant as of the last few weeks. He's been known in the league as a sub for the most part over the course of Season 1, and always putting up impressive stats for his teams. But yeah, I've noticed that. He gets a little bit steezy sometimes. But as I was saying earlier as well, over on Channel 1 at the moment, we're seeing the cast from Swiift and SirDimwi as well as Wit playing a part there. And Paradox versus Jambon Bear. Keep going with the Spanish pronunciation. Over there, though, it's Bad Elmo. And that's a very pronounced goaler, up by a dozen. Alcos asking, why are they 3? Someone fourth has some sort of tech issues, and because of the roster locks going into these qualifier cups, not permitted subs, unfortunately. Again, we're not positive yet on whether this will be a full series thing or not, and whether or not their fourth will be joining them later on in the day. But definitely a tough going of things and just unfortunate timing. So we're definitely hoping to see the 4th player return before the end of the day. And Marcel saying, sadly, I am Kex with the account of a friend. So you're saying you're Kex, so you're the one with the issues. Please say you'll be back. I hope you'll be back. But over here, we'll be coming back for the blue side for Watchin' Weebs. getting the disc back. It's Steffo tapping it over and reaching the hands of Hamster, who slam it in there for a couple more. Okay, you see, Marcel, that's very, very confusing. You say, I am not Kex, but you're saying you are not Kex. See, it's very confusing when you throw in the not as part of your name. But I think I got you. I got Kex. Hope to see you checking in by the end of this or in the future rounds, hopefully. I mean, at the moment, it's just going to be a struggle, obviously, anytime in 4v3, 3v4, without those extra stacks, those double stacks, which especially is a strong part of the European meta. We see these double stacks, and again, also, I guess, enabled even more so by the very low pings that normally Europeans are working with. I mean, they're just so fast. And so when you can't get those double stacks, it's going for, ooh, the double play right there on the spin move. Just nice job from National Agency. I told you, if he's going to score, he's going to do it in his own way and in his own style. And getting it done there for the first couple points.
7, 6, 5,
So not too shabby. Ducky in the chat asking, how does this stats bot work? Are you referring to the overlay, the Twitch extension there? Assuming that it is in fact working. That, yeah, it just hooks into the API. That was done by Sealable and Subtlety. And yeah, works well as going for the shot there. Not quite online, but rebounded by Hamster. And then Hamster will drive it in, looking for that bottom corner painted. The goalie assaulted a little bit, and you can see he's still compensating for it, but just unable to get the grab.
12, 11, 10, 9.
Boop says it's working for him, but then again, I don't know if he's booping me or being serious. Hopefully it's working for you there. It should be up. If it is in fact not, let us know, and I can refresh it on my end as well. But yes, we'll be clear, a boost. Bad Elmo going for that grab here on the disc, but going to be contested by National Agency. There he is again, trying to brawl, getting it now as Multi. Lanzan saying works on refresh. Cool. All right, so over here to the side panel, being taken by Steffo. And apparently, Open Comms, here National Agency also having a crash issue. So this is just, I guess, when it rains, it pours. And what an unusual ding that was, as it just grazed all along the entire side of the rim. I'm not sure I've seen that before, and have it not go in. Highly unusual. That shot, though, will end the round as a matter of fact. So very tough start, admittedly, here, through no direct fault of their own over on Gecko, but that will in fact be that first round mercy with the tech timeout situation. They would have been allowed to take one after that goal was scored, but of course because of the mercy, kind of undoing that regardless. So it will be just, yeah, that conclusion of that round. Hopefully they get back their third in there as well as their fourth. But meanwhile, for Watch and Weaves, just, yeah, full on effort. Everyone on the points there. No one really sticking out as being the dominant scorer. It's just a very even distribution. 5 points for Bad Elmo. 6 for Dave, Stand, and Hamster. And then Steffo with the 3, as well as 3 assists. So gotta love that number too. Anytime you have the assist playing a part, making up for maybe any lack of individual score, but you're getting your teammates involved. And sometimes if you're really distributing those assists to your teammates, that's going to get everyone feeling good on your team, and that's going to get everyone involved and feeling in a good rhythm. So gotta love that type of gameplay there. Now, that said, we seem to have another player dipping out there. Not National Agency this time, though, so I'm not quite sure on what the issue is or isn't, but launching out they are. Lanzan saying reboot 3 times fast on the overlay. Gotcha. Player names show up. Well, in that case, sounds like it's working. I think.
Should we not wait for
Bit offset. I think Sealable mentioned wanting to fix that. But over here on this drive in off the backboard, Multi trying to get that one. National Agency actually coming away with it and looking for that clear through. And yeah, it looks like a National Agency was the initial one who had dropped, but now National's back, Dan is gone. You know what? Doesn't matter. They're going to score 2 on 4. And how many times do we say here in Master League and in these matches, you know, anytime you can get yourself the advantage of speed against another team, I mean, even if they're only running that single stack, one efficient stack will undo a million mistakes. Just basically, because that's inevitable in Echo Arena, right? Mistakes will happen, especially at these kind of margins at this level of play. You know, any team from Master to Bronze will make those mistakes. But if you can get a fast stack, you're going to undo so much of it. As Dave goes for the 2.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7.
So tying it up here and still down by 2. I'm not a little bit concerned / confused here on what the situation is perhaps for Gecko. Still being down the player, but also not opting for any kinds of timeouts. So I'm hoping that's not a purposeful thing. Not sure what the situation is on that one, but they are just opting to play ahead, and it will be 3 points ahead for Watch and Weebs, 5-2.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
As they prep to launch out here, just trying to work with it. Multi's gonna launch, send it over to the 2, but good stun off of that initial joust, but actually a good grab from National Agency right back at him. Multi and Multi and National Agency playing incredibly well despite the outnumbered situation, but indeed you can only brawl for so long before you will kind of get separated, and as a result it will be 7-2 now after that score from Bad Elmo.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
And so joust advantage back to the hands of Multi and National Agency. And see what they pull off, this time going to the right tunnel. And the defense kind of opting to play behind him. In fact, that stack eventually catching up, and National Agency was just a incredible amount of moves throwing that in. And there's Multi with a good stun. So I already know Multi from previous weeks, watching him on Gecko. Super good at goalkeeping, as much as anything else. But as I said earlier in the pre-show as well, these days you don't really see too many one-dimensional players. I mean, they're good at offense. Chances are they're at least capable on defense, and vice versa. As their defense gets played there, just tapping it out. But on the putback from Steffo, it's going to be 9 points total here for the Watch and Weebs. Up by 7. Still 6:27 left in this second round. Lanzan saying the big brain strats. They play really good at 2v4. All things considered, they are holding their own despite the outnumbered situation. So definitely got to hand it to them. I mean, look at that again. They're just working through the stacks, the brawls in the back line there. Definitely playing dividends for Multi. But off to the other side again, just, you know, you can only distract so many players with those brawls, and that second stack, the second boosted player, will get back to the orange goal, and it's Steffo putting that one in for the 11th point now. 5:40 left in this second round.
7, 6, 5.
Have yet to hear any communication otherwise. Also was trying to figure that out a little bit from the third player there. You know, one of the dropouts was just due to pre-match tech issues or hardware issues. The second dropout here, that one is a bit unknown to me. Oofscar saying, is this Palidore? Yes, sir. I'm casting here, and so much for subtlety camming here on Channel 2. For the meantime, and over there to the goal, just going to be sent out by Hamster, looking for the stack with Steffo, just missed the re-grab, so by the rad logo, National Agency taking it back, but being collapsed upon by all the defenders as that clear gets sent on through. Going to the bottom now towards that wedge area, there's the stack once more. Steffo and Dave Stan doing a good job with the mobility, just missing the shot there, but on the other side, let's see, Multi might have a chance at that, but Hamster as well contesting a lot of the stacks. Just that's really what's buying the benefits here as that 3 goes in for Steffo. I'd say you take the second stacks out of the equation, and it'll be a pretty close round, all things considered. It's really just that extra speed that's finding, for Multi and National Agency, they're finding themselves outnumbered and kind of blitzed before they can really react too much, unfortunately. And over there, I mean, 2 players playing back here now in the goal as we wind down the last 4 minutes. See Simon stopping in as well. And will be a backboarded rebound just about from Hamster, putting it in 16 points now. And yeah, Simon, the one issue was expected, the other issue, not so much. Not sure what's happening there, but because of the roster lock-ins in these qualifier cups, it is unfortunately what has to be rolled with. But as Lanzan pointed out, they've already scored once. Could they do it again? Maybe. I mean, National Agency really showing the full bag of tricks constantly over the weeks. Doesn't cease to impress whatsoever. Even doing some spectating in public matches, I've seen him a lot in recent weeks, and he definitely has the moves and can put them on, as that shot gets blocked off there by Multi. Now it's going to be put back by Hamster, but still got to hand it to Multi on the headbutt save on that 3-pointer, I believe that was. So 18 points here going favor of Watchin' Weebs, but as I said, definitely not rolling over and just allowing anything to happen on the offensive end for Watchin' Weebs. I mean, Multi and National Agency, they're brawling, they're defending as best they can. And this is potentially reaching that mercy situation here, but they're still trying with that strong pass bouncing back into the hands of Multi. Multi looking down low to National Agency. National Agency taking that one in a hurry, just had to because of Stefo's defense nearby. And then there's the stacks, and as I said, that's kind of the difference maker especially. Even never minding the number situation, just the speed is really all that it is. But now a 3-point shot with some modest speed there, going in at 14 meters a second from 15 meters out. And one more score here, and that could be the match on a mercy. And again, very unfortunate situation, but still got to give full credit to a multinational agency and Team Gecko there, just hanging in and holding on despite the rather rough start to this this day here. So Multi getting brawled out. Hamster just slinging that one with a slap clear. That's going to bounce right back outside the bubble, and with this stack getting back there first, National Agency, nice regrabs there, leeches. And meanwhile, there's a stack coming in hot from a pair of players, actually shooting into the tunnel. Always kind of funny when that happens. But Stefo getting the disc back nonetheless. And over at the Rad logo, he'll have one teammate, and then on the other side as well, a couple teammates just anchoring down, waiting for potential passing plays to envelop. Last minute of play either or, potentially the last few seconds, depending if this score goes through. But again, being dived out, Multi getting another good grab there, which is something as a dunk goes through, actually. Nice alley-oop to end this round and this series 23-2.
What happened
So,
to your third teammate? Did he just rage quit?
definitely a rough situation. And feeling for Gecko there, without a doubt. Never want to see those kind of things happen for sure, but as is the case, things happen, and you just gotta roll with the punches sometimes. And as I said, Gecko, full credit to them, they did. Meanwhile, for Watchin' Weebs, I mean, they did exactly what they had to do. Number situation or otherwise, doesn't matter. You come here to play, and they played. And they scored. They got rebounds, they got their stats. I mean, you can see Hamster, they're absolutely just piling it on. 18 points. Not to mention just all the rest of the stats there. The 2 assists, the save, 2 steals, 10 stuns. I mean, every category there, which applies to several of those players. And yeah, 10 points there. Stefo, 8 for Dave Stan. Bad Elmo with 2. And the high assist, 5 to Stefo. And that will be, again, that match. Just not the hottest start, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we see the return of their third and hopefully their fourth going into the next round. Now, with that said, checking it out here, looks like the Channel 1 match there is also concluded. So yeah, we're going to move on to the second round shortly here. So we will be back in a moment or a few. All right, hello everybody. Welcome back once again to VR Master League. So, in this second round matchup, we're sticking here. I'm Palidore with So Much for Subtlety, sticking here on this channel with a matchup between Les Jambon Bear versus Watchin' Weaves. It's very fun to say. I heard Dimwi did a good job. He was telling me in between rounds. He handled the pronunciation well, so I'll try to live up to that. But yeah, quite the beautiful language, I must say. And open comms happen to be unmuted. Got a little bit of pregame karaoke going on. I like it. It's been a while. Don't hear it too much from anymore. Not even from Team Joker. All right, well, there you go. So, gotta love the pre-game warm-ups of sorts to get the hype going. Lanzan's there saying, "I regret that I cannot spam bits to you. Just imagine Tier 1." Well, indeed, Lanzan with a Tier 1, Cheer 1 in spirit. Cheers to that. Because spirit. See, I got the puns. It just took a while, but I can find them, no problem. But yes, so the teams have been informed they can start off over on the Channel 1, VRML Channel 1. It'll be, once again, Wit there, camming and casting is SirDimwi along with Swiift. And they're doing Washed Up versus Paradox. And that's a very interesting game for sure. This is the re-debut on Channel 1 of the players there, half and half. They have... Indeed, Gecko is there, so kind of half Blast, half Jesters, all up on Channel 1. So, yeah, like I said, glad to see them there. But over here on Channel 2, for those joining us today, appreciate you just the same, as well as these teams appreciating. So here we go. It's going to be the launch off blue side. Watchin' Weaves, Bad Elmo, Dave Stan, Steffo, Hamster Bull as that, who could say that actually would have been in there, but off of the rebound. Dave Stan going for the backboard play. Couldn't quite get that one, but back out to the outer side of the ramp and slapped on through. For the orange team here, it's Jambon Bear with not blue, Cursed Berserker, Trumpet, and Wolf Fails. Hopefully I got all those nailed. Wolf nailed. Over here though, Wolf gets it over to actually Bad Elmo on the intercept, sends the clear deep down into the bubble. Will be the stacks coming in hot and gotta watch out there. So getting rid of it quickly and recovering was Hamster. Right back to Dave Stan now as they space out for the passes. So good positioning and a good hit. Bad Elmo gets the shots. First 2 points go in favor here of Watchin' Weaves.
11, 10, 9, 8, 7,
La technique
6,
ultime.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So in that last round, kind of a rough going. I mentioned Gecko there versus Watchin' Weaves. Had some tech issues, unfortunately, with a couple of the players, but for Watchin' Weaves, they came in hot, and really all of their players heavily involved in the offense. All of them getting points on the board, numerous points at that. All of them assisting each other and filling up those stat sheets. So it's good to see from them. Shot just barely gonna ding. Steffo is in the general area for a rebound as well as Elmo. So Bad Elmo, not bad at all as he goes for a nice little loop.
Get to your launchers.
May have been a little bit of a crouching move there,
12,
if my eyes didn't deceive me. Looked like he got a little bit of elevation there, so maybe anchored down. Did the crouch, then left the anchor and stood up. Maybe. But one of those little nuances of sorts that,
has begun.
you know, maybe as a new player to Echo Arena, of which there are many these days because of the Quest beta, and open beta starting in a few days, by the way, on the 5th of May.
Blue clears it out.
But one of those things that are a little bit more nuanced and you won't realize immediately off the bat, but definitely utilizing verticality, crouching, jumping, ducking, things like that. You'll see players pull off. As they go for that passing play, Steffo just missing the hands of Bad Elmo there, it looks like, so maybe a little miscommunication, but no worries for them because they still get the rebound, and they're still up by 4 points here. So they're going to do their best and collect that disc. There's Dave having it stolen.
Downfield.
Curse, putain, t'as oublié le regrab.
And now Steffo connected with Bad Elmo. They get the disc back. They have some time to spare, not a problem, going for that clear. just recognizing there's two teammates there, so at least sending in the general direction, as that is going to be generally on the right direction. It's Hamsterville. Now, he had a pretty hot game already last round, last series against the Gecko. 18 points, if I do recall. So he's definitely on fire as it is, and I don't think he's looking to stop anytime soon. Full of energy. And there it is again on that turnover. We saw that in the last series, and this time doing it even against, 4v4. They're still going to come through with the turnover. Bad Elmo taking a 3 softly, and it's 10-point lead. Go in favor of Watchin Weebs. Meanwhile, here for the orange team, for Jambon, it's launched out for Wolf and Trumpet. Actually now Curse joining them, so kind of seeing what they roll out with here. Players that to date not super familiar with in competitive play, but that's kind of been the case with I would say almost half the players who have joined into VRML as of the last several months. That shot is very, very close and almost rebounded, in fact. That was almost a good hit. But yeah, so as I was saying, not super familiar with these players, that a lot of them getting into the game, and that's kind of a beautiful thing. Because over the course of weeks, as that one is going to be just guided in, it looks like there, for like 12 points, almost saved, but heavily bothered by the offensive player. So not quite able to get that save. It was not blue, but it was close. But yeah, like seeing these new players, because over the weeks you do get to recognize their personalities, their play styles, and see who's good at what. And there's definitely a lot of impressive skill being shown from so many of these new players on either region, North America, Europe, doesn't matter. Over here going for the shot, clear down the center. Dave Stan finding himself at the advantage with the one-on-one, and does get the goal to go. It's about halfway through this round. The scoring output for Watchin Weebs pretty much matching what they had in the round one of this round robin cup. As we do get yet another turnover cause. So coming in softly is Dave. And Dave Stan definitely understands how to get those goals and how to cause those turnovers, for that matter. We're seeing this just kind of on the constant off of these jousts so quick, as I always mention with these stacks. I mean, really forcing the hands of the offensive jousters. So you can see them splitting off here, getting there just barely with a hair of time to spare. So weren't really able to get control of the disc and guide it to the place they wanted. So it will be a pass going to Hamster and dunking it home. Hamster continues to roll on that old hamster wheel as he wheels in for the 2. It's 5 points for him. Bad Elmo, however, leading with 7 points. Currently on Watchin Weebs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
So on this joust here will be tapped, and this time really finding a nice target. Meanwhile, deep in the back line, Curse Berserker was doing good work to actually delay the stacks, trying to buy his team here some opportunity maybe at pushing the offense. Now, passes a little bit off, will result in the turnover to Stefo's hands. But it was still at least getting it to this side of the floor and just trying to make those adjustments, because definitely that speed is kind of crushing at the moment for Watchin Weebs. But the 3 will be off and sent back to the midline where there is an awaiting player. It's a Hamster, positioned out quite well for the rebound. And that's just been the case, taking a lot of shots here. There it is for the 20th point, and that will actually conclude on the Mercy this first round. 20 points on 12 shots taken for Watchin Weebs. Now for
Good run, guys.
Jambon over here, just one of those cases again, new team forming, and this is the same thing with Watchin Weebs when we saw them first enter, and a lot of these teams entering the league. It takes time to develop that chemistry. So when you're a new team and you haven't had that competitive experience, it's going to it'll be a work in progress sometimes, and that's okay. Well, that's kind of the nice thing too about this qualifier cup, in the sense that anyone and everyone was available to join and register for it, have a chance at finding that finals and championship glory. And if nothing else, these qualifier cups kind of a nice mix. It's basically a swan song for some of the Season 1 teams, kind of showing that progress over the course of the season and just trying to end on good notes, if nothing else. But meanwhile, for other teams, it's not a swan song. Instead, it's an introduction. It's a taste of things to come, because for a lot of these teams we're seeing here in Europe and as well as North America in these Challenger Cups, these are the teams and players that we haven't seen in Season 1 as of yet, but we're going to be seeing quite a bit of in the coming months and going into Season 2 and beyond. So there's really a lot of good stuff there to take away from these matches, just kind of seeing what's in store for the future. Because we've seen from so many teams on both sides of the pond where given enough weeks and months, they just come through with that too, actually saved out by La Trompette. And that was a really soft shot, granted, but close range and still just squeaking it out of there with a little time to spare. And now going for the disc, Steffo has it, looking for the cross over to Bad Elmo. Bad Elmo gonna roll in for a 3-point attempt and delivers it on Curse Berserker, trying to save. However, Curse was actually stunned out by one of the Watch and Weeb's players. So good coordination from Watch and Weeb's. And that's a testament to exactly what I was saying. That chemistry there. Watch and Weeb's also a newer team to competitive play and here in VRML, but I mean, just able to coordinate things like that with the communication, able to coordinate their stacks and get the 6th point here.
Get to your launchers.
And just, yeah, continuing to roll and put out a very high-paced scoring effort here across both their matches so far for Watch and Weebs.
3, 2, 1.
National Agency stopping by right there. Hey, hey, the French team, yes.
Clears it out.
Les Jambonbeurs. I can't say that enough because it's so fun to say. If not a little bit of tongue-tying at times. So I keep trying to pronounce the J with a hard J instead of the silent, or no, reverse that. The silent instead of the hard J, but that's okay. Over here, Steffo with a disc, going for Watch and Weaves. It's going to be Hamsterbill looking for that point off the backboard, and hits it quite nicely.
Get to your launchers.
Hamsterbill doing maybe a little bit of the Saluna impression.
11.
Saw Saluna for Mirage last night. Saw Tony as well in the chat on Channel 1 a little bit earlier in the pre-show.
3, 2,
But just first thing that comes to mind off of those top backboard shots specifically, that's kind of the Saluna shot in my head now, because I've seen it over the last 3 weeks. I've seen that exact same shot happen, I think, 30 different times. So that's kind of my default now. But over here, with an 8-point lead and looking to increase it with an anchored 3-point shot, it's Hamster again. And Hamster right now is up to the 10 points.
12, 11.
And creeping up there as well next to Bad Elmo, who has a dozen for Watch and Weebs.
6, 5.
Lanzan saying, let's go ham sandwich. Yes. So, I mean, based on what I Googled there, it's essentially, that's just a literal ham sandwich. It's like a Subway sandwich, yes? If I'm correct. Unless there's anything specific about it that I don't know. Either way, looks delicious and nutritious. And at the moment, well, they're gonna try and go for this joust again. I think one of the things, you know, that can be definitely improved just with more experience is looking for the, you know, regrabs off of these offensive jousts here for Jambonbert, because they're going, looks like the first man is being sent on the disc there as QB, well, which, you know, is the natural default, right? You don't really think about it, as right now Steffo gonna go in for another shot, 15 points. But I mean, sending out the first man to do QB duties, that's pretty much the same thing that all of us veteran players, that's what we did to start off the game. That's what we did for really the first year and a half or so, at least, of Echo Arena, before people started getting more and more clever and creative with the way that they joust on both offense and defense. So I think that's one thing that could be done differently, is just getting those regrabs there, sending the second person off to QB instead of the first, or even going for the PE launches, which of course is kind of the pre-launch, not using the catapult ring at all, but instead leaving your anchor as, wow, Steffo, deep shot there for 3. 18 points now. But yes, the PE joust, which was kind of popularized here in Europe first, if nothing else, in Season 2 of VRL. And that's where you ignore the catapult ring altogether, and you just launch off with a little under 2 seconds left on the countdown. And basically, by executing it correctly and getting the appropriate regrabs, you'll wind up launching out of the tunnel with speed right as the door opens up. So that is the benefits for that. Just FYI, I know a lot of you guys in the chat know that already, of course, but for any potential new viewers or anyone who watches this in the VODs, just a little bit of those tips as this shot just misses. Could have ended the round just the same right there, but going for the steez and just missing that one, but still a rebound. Now off to that cross pass deeply, but okay, nice job from Wolf there. So that's one of these less seen things that I will give full credit. That was very nice from Wolf. I talked about it even in yesterday's streams in North America. Sometimes you don't see goalies these days, in my opinion, diving nearly enough. Sometimes. There are a lot of talented goalies in this league. As hold on, we're gonna line up maybe one last shot of. Is he gonna headbutt it in? Oh dear, he is for 3, and it's gonna be Bad Elmo. That was a bad move, but in a good steezy way, I suppose. That's going to end at 21 in the second round.
GG, guys.
But just to finish the thought too. Just knowing, having the presence of mind to know when it's best to dive as a goalie and when it's best to stay in goal and just take on the offender one-on-one. That's kind of the trick, you know, for some of those long distance passes or those really slow moving passes. Dives can be really good, you know, deny the offense the opportunity to even catch the disc. But in any case, getting away from the coaching mode for a moment, we will take a look at those stats for you. And we'll be, again, a Bad Elmo, 15 points this time. So he leads scorer in this match, whereas in the first match versus Gecko was Hamster, but he still put on 10 points as well. But again, everyone on the board, there's 9 for Dave, Steffo with 5, and then the assists once again. You know, 2 for Bad Elmo, 1 for Dave, 4 for Steffo, and 2 for Hamster. You know, meanwhile, for Jambon there, it was not blue, 2 saves, 7 stuns. And then we had Cursed Berserker, 5 stuns. Doing some good brawl work a couple times on some of those stacks there. We had a Trumpet with 2 steals, 9 stuns. And then for Wolf, it was 1 save and 11 stuns. Well, Wolf fails there. So good job on the stun department. And also getting a couple of saves and some nice dives between their team. Just not able to put it together quite there on the offensive launches and get that stuff going. But again, that will come with time. All right, so with that said, that's going to be the conclusion of this round of round robin. See, should find some better phrasing there because we call the Echo rounds, but then we have the tournament bracket rounds and the tournament form, which is round robin. So the round robin rounds after that third round. Yeah, see, all kinds of confusion, right? But in any case, we're going to move on to the third round of this round robin Challenger Cup starting momentarily here. So we'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Well, welcome to the match. It was about to get started there really quickly, and then they did a sudden restart, so maybe recognizing that we weren't ready? I'm not quite sure either, or we are ready now, so we're good to go. It's going to be washed up here, and I'm just going to ping them an extra time then just to make sure.
Yeah, they're in here.
Yeah, it took us a little off guard, but that's fine. We were ready to go. We got it under control. All right, now it's going to be, indeed, the return here of washed up until channel 2, and then versus watching Weebs. I think our...
Starting in 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Teams are overlay. I think might need adjusting there on the names. But we'll get into it regardless in a moment as we do get the launch going on. I'm muted now. All right, hello. I'm back. Don't mind that. We got the disc right back here though for Dave's stand. You didn't miss too much. 30 seconds of gameplay still in, and actually, you know, washed up's gonna be favored, sure, but watching Weebs, they're coming in here feeling good. Now that said, Taco on Thursday, he got the goal, and it's 2 points. But yeah, with the 2 straight matches there for watching Weebs, having some just kind of a mercy party just about. So at the very least, they're coming in with a good rhythm. They're feeling fine. Their assists were definitely on point. So many assists between their teammates and everyone kind of contributing to the score sheet. So nothing too unusual in that department. But it's going to be a huge test facing off against washed up here on orange side for sure. So we'll see how this one goes as they go now for a play. It's going to be a 2-pointer from Steffo. Tied right up.
Get to your launchers.
And Steffo there assisted by Dave Stan.
11, 10.
And you gotta give compliments to the watching Weebs here, because, you know, again, I know they were faced. It was a kind of a 3v4 situation at first with Gecko in that initial round robin match, and then you know, newer team there against Jean Bombert. But I mean, against washed up, they are, contrary to the name, I mean, this is a team who is extremely skilled, very much one of those ironic names, I suppose. And full credit to watching Weebs, despite being a newer team to VR Master League themselves and competition here. Their fundamentals are right on point. I mean, they have some nice passes, just like that one from washed up there. It's bad internet to talk on Thursday for the 4th point. But again, they're prioritizing the right things, going for the right passing plays, and positioning is pretty good. So this could still be an interesting matchup for sure. Now, we saw the connection there. Speaking of good chemistry and good connections, Taco on Thursday, as well as bad internet, of course. Teammates in VRML, not only here now on washed up, but as you know, recently as on the Jesters, as they go for that play. And there is one of the Jesters, former Jesters, bad internet BTW, with the 7th point, 7-2 here. But yeah, bad internet and Taco on Thursday. Jesters players for basically a half of Season 1. Also extending back to the preseason. They were teammates on Toxic units. So they definitely have that chemistry. Meanwhile, for Boop and Gecko, very obviously have that chemistry, as I'm sure Dimwi and Swiift had talked about over on Channel 1 in those matches, no doubt. But you know what? New channel, so I make the rules. I'm just kidding. But over here, Hamster Bill is going to go for the shot. Oh, that would have been a really good hit to bring it right back within 2. But they will get the rebound at least. So there goes watching Weebs. And actually, they do get the 3. How about that? Rebound and found the goal. It's bad. Elmo.
12, 11,
Boom,
10,
says Alakos, and boom indeed. Nice hit.
7, 6, 5,
See Lala in there as well.
3, 2,
Get him. Eliminate the Weebs. Well, washed up will certainly try, but yeah, watching Weebs feeling mighty fine here, especially after that 3-point hit. But yeah, going back to as I said for Boop and Lone Gecko, I mean they've been teammates forever and ever, and always will be as they go for the shot. There's Boop, 90 at 19. So Boop 19 meters per second for the 9-5 lead here with less than 6 minutes left in the first round.
6,
See Sendo target
4,
popping in the chats. Welcome, welcome from Smash Dash.
teams have cleared
Been much too long since I've casted a Smash Dash game, which is to say only a week or so, but feels too long as they go in strong here. Bad internet, and actually a crash coming in. So maybe some bad internet from Taco on Thursday, but actually he is back right away, basically. So I'm not sure if we will in fact see a restart or not. Looks like not the case.
7, 6,
So no harm done there.
4, 3, 2,
And right now, it will just be Watching Weaves attempting to give the rebuttal. We've seen them, again, put up a couple points here, a couple goals, that 3-pointer earlier on, as well as that 2. And as I said, fundamentally, Watching Weaves' game plan is pretty sound. I mean, their positioning is pretty good. You can see it right here, in fact. I mean, they're spaced out very nicely. You know, the execution right there on the pass, not quite what they wanted it to be, but you know, those are the things that will just come with time, and mistakes will happen like that, chemistry-wise from time to time. But I mean, they're going for all the right plays, and that's why I'm super impressed with what I've seen from them over the weeks. And we'll take a shot here, and that is another big hit. Taco on Thursday. So for Taco, well, I mentioned earlier too, we're talking in the pre-show about how many great goalies historically that this region here has produced over in EU and in Europe. Taco on Thursday, definitely one of those contributors. Over in earlier in Season 1, I believe Week 4, if memory serves, of Season 1, we had what we called Goalie Week. Really in both regions, so there was an unbelievable amount of saves. But Taco in that week was one of the big contributors. He had a ridiculous series of games that week. There was a ton, but yeah, so many that we made a whole week out of it because there were just something like 50 or 60 legit saves as that shot is not saved by bad internet. BTW, 16 points now. But yeah, back in week 4, there were so many legitimate head-on saves across both regions that it warranted making a name, warranted making a video. Captain Canada had actually made a video, and maybe we can show that a little bit later, or before the season ends, you know, revisit some of those old vids. But a lot of good highlight plays as these stacks get back on the defense here. One of the important things I do emphasize, and you'll notice it definitely here from Washed Up, is just that speed, the chemistry on the regrabs, things like that. I talked about how much you can make up any kind of misplays, you can make up for it just by the pure speed over and over again, and that's something that you're going to see a ton. But at the moment, Dave Stan getting that pass from the shoulder, but taking it out is Boop. And there he is, showing those goalkeeping skills that I also touted about a little bit in the pre-show. Just definitely coming a long way in every aspect of the game, so saving it off the backboard there. But Watching Weaves doing a good job to maybe maintain, or at least keeping it on this side of the floor and giving a little bit of struggle. And as that shot just barely misses, but will be put back there by Gecko, dumping it in for the 2. It's 18 points to 5, and they're starting to, as Lala says, torpedo. There's a good one. Always got to look for more variation, more words to add to the old vocab, I suppose. But it's a good way to describe it. I mean, they were called Blast for a reason, you know. I mean, maybe the reason isn't the one I'm thinking of, but just in the sense that when they're boosted, I mean, they blast off like a rocket, without a doubt. And there it is, like a rocket with a shot. There's another fast one from Boop. Right outside that 3-point line, and it's 21 points, less than 2 minutes left, and pulling ahead by a pretty good margin here.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
So Watching Weaves yet to be defeated, even in a round so far today, but looks like it's about to change from the returning players here on Washed Up. So it's Gecko looking for that shoulder pass, gets it to Boop, extra pass to bad internet, and a beautiful hit there. Almost saved actually by Hamsterville. His hand was in fact in the right spot, just wasn't quite online on the reaction, but again, still made the right play.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And yeah, as a result here, we do have, well, 1 minute left on the clock. narrow situation. Might be eyeing that mercy potentially, but trying to do their best here for Watch and Weaves to deny that. Couldn't quite hit theirs. Lone Gecko goes for that clear, but just into the waiting hands of Hamsterbo, who's had quite a few interceptions in mid lane across these matches today. There's a good pass over to Ness, but look at Gecko cutting it off. So again, the correct pass made there, a high percentage spot if you can get the shots taken from the Ness area down the middle. As they try to there for Washed Up, and they will end it, in fact, off that backboard rebound. And that's a bad internet BTW for the W. And that's 25-5, round one. And so taking a look at these stats here in this first round, just a strong offensive effort from a little bit of everyone, but especially bad internet there. The thing is, not only 11 points, so he's leading in points, but look at that, he's leading in assists. So not only is he getting himself his scores, he's getting all of his 3 teammates involved as well. That is just a very holistic effort, if nothing else, and impressive in that regard. You have Boop with 5 points, 3 assists. So also doing some nice distribution and 2 saves as well. You know, Lone Gecko, 2 points, an assist, 2 saves, and then Taco on Thursday with 3 points and a couple stuns. Meanwhile, for Watchin' Weaves, it's Bad Elmo, the 3 points and 7 stuns. Steffo, the 2 points. And then Hamsterbo and Dave Stan, 1 assist apiece, as well as a steal apiece. And some stuns along the way. So as we make our way here towards this second round, let's see if Watchin' Weaves can put on a show and get some more of those goals. You know, just it's going to be a tough going of things. They're definitely going to want to try and prioritize maybe stopping some of these stacks or just focusing on even getting some leeches off, because at any given point, you can see it even right now, you can see those washed up players. You have 2 on the nest, you had 2 that were connected there as they go for the pass. So there's Boop with a shot, and that's the first 2 points about 17 seconds in. But you can see exactly what I was talking about, in that there were already 2 different stacks ready to go if necessary for Washed Up. So had that disc gone astray somewhere else, had it been cleared to the other side of the floor, their players were already directly linked up to each other. And that's why you see these clears go out, and before you know it, you blink your eye, you snap your fingers, and they're already there. So I think for Watchin' Weaves, if they can, you know, start brawling some of those stacks, or even just hang around one of them and get those leeches, just so they can find some speed and bother them a little bit, that will buy them some good opportunity. Now on the positioning here, Lone Gecko on that left side, just missing narrowly, but Boop also missing the rebound narrowly. But great positioning from Washed Up here. Because of that spacing, they were, you know, every side of the floor and going down the middle of the floor for another score. It's 4 points here. Taco on Thursday scoring there off the bad internet assist.
12, 11, 10.
That's one of the benefits of having those players. If you have one on, say, the right side of the floor, you have one in the mid area, you have one in the left side, maybe you have a midfielder. By having that kind of positioning, which you see a lot from the top teams across both regions, that's how they get those rebounds so often. It's not a coincidence when you see teams, as that shot gets taken and saved, it's not a coincidence to see teams like, like Washed Up here, or like Phantoms, like Kangarillas, you know, any of the master and gold level teams of this league. Is that shot almost classic going in from Boop, but instead he's just going to get the unintentional assist. But how dangerous is he from every angle, even if he doesn't have a direct line of sight on the goal? But yeah, the positioning, not a coincidence why these top teams get so many rebounds. It's because they space out so well, where even if they miss a shot or if they miss a pass, there's still going to be someone right there to recover. So for Watchin' Weaves, Bad Elmo looking for a very deep pass, quickly over, not unable to get that first anchor is Steffo, but he's got to look for that pass to the cross, and that's a beautiful move there. Handing it off to Dave Stan, and boy, that had to be precise, and it had to have a nice touch, because it was very short distance on that pass. If he threw it with too much strength, it was at heavy risk of just being an overshoot and a missed grab. But at the same time, you threw it with too soft to touch and too casually. That could have been a turnover and snagged out by the defender there from Washed Up. So that was a very beautiful move from Watch and Weebs as they go back on defense here. There's Bad Internet handing it to Lone Gecko right back to the two-man game. Gotta love it. Assisting Bad Internet on another goal. It's 8-2 for Washed Up. So speaking of nice crosses, as Alacross says in there, Alacross. Yeah, we gotta love that team play. The two-man game is one of the, in my opinion, the most beautifully executed plays in the game. We can get those just back-to-back passes between the same two players, crisscrossing between goals. Just very aesthetic and very efficient, if nothing else. Good for keeping the teams off balance as they go for a very on-balance shot. Boop hitting again. It's 10-2 in round 2.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8.
So 6 minutes left.
6, 5, 4, 3.
And see some discussion going there too about the Quest version and crossplay and things like that. And
Round has begun.
overall, I mean, yeah, Alacos kind of nailed it. I mean, there's a lot of there's so many new players, and you know the Quest player base is just so large in general and continually growing. As that shot, oh, barely missing, almost going in again.
The shot was blocked.
But it's growing so fast that you're gonna see a lot more life, I think, injected into the arena with so many new teams. I mean, we're even seeing some of them already with that rookie crossplay cup being ran by Hasko, Ducky, and Skinny, with already nearly 100 signups. Over 100 if you include the coaches, in fact. So there's just player pool is huge, and that is a valid question. At what point will the Quest maybe outnumber the Rift users? Could happen at some point. But either way, happy to have ourselves, what, 40 or so teams here in VRML Season 1 participating. A lot of good stuff going on as that pass right above the goal. Bad Internet again, just really being spoon-fed by his teammates over the course of this game. I mean, 15 points for him. And a lot of them being fed off of these nice assists. Just the passing game right on point. So Hamster Bowl, rolling to Dave's stand. Dave, it's like a bounce, taking a bad bounce there. Will maybe reach the hands eventually of Steffo, but just right below his reach indeed, as it goes back to the outer edge of the bubble. Taco on Thursday with that disc, finding Bad Internet. You can see how immediately when Bad Internet saw that Taco might have had a chance at the disc, instead of continuing to go and pile up, he just went to a position for a pass, which is another one of those kind of positional maneuvers that are oh so good. Just like the shot there from Boop off of Lone Gecko's assist. I mean, could have also been a shot, quite frankly, but you know, Boop guaranteeing it went in essentially. With the heavy defense being played, a couple goalies in the general vicinity. So Hamster Bull rolling out. There's the stack coming in quickly, but a good stun there from Hamster to initially deny the stack. But there's that ever so dangerous second stack coming in. It's Taco on Thursday being stunned out. But again, the positioning there from Boop, unable to hit the shot. And now just sailing out of the reach of everyone for a few moments before Gecko retains. Bad Elmo playing a little bit outside the goal. You can see the aggression here, attempting to be played from Bad Elmo, but also trying to be on balance and just not get caught out. That's the dangers of man versus man defense. As they go for that pass to the cross and into the goal. Almost saved, in fact, by Hamster, but still actually squeaks its way in. And that will be 16 here for Washed Up in round 2. And I think going back to some of the Twitch discussion as well with the newer teams, newer players, things like that, I think just merely because of all the streams, all the VODs, things like that we have these days, it's a lot easier to get footage, high-level footage and things like that. In 2017, 2018, even 19, it was still pretty difficult to get excessive amounts of competitive footage from league play. You know, at best you'd usually have, you know, seldom third-person streams, and then you'd have a lot of maybe first-person streams sprinkled throughout, but you wouldn't really get a great idea of just the league as a whole and really get to see the meta from kind of a big overarching standpoint. But now with all this footage available, I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing so many of these teams really catch on quickly to what they need to do in order to get better and in order to win more games. So over here, though, trying to win another game with that pass to Bad Internet, just missing a boop, slinging it on over. Very convenient bounce to Gecko, who will take the open shot. Oh, what an assist! Not intentional. Actually, no, it's boop. Probably intentional. Why not? Absolutely. It was a boop bounce to Gecko off the bottom of the barrier, and it will be an assist for Gecko. We'll just roll with that one. Either way, it's a good 3-point hit from Lone Gecko there. And now Hamsterbill rolling out, trying to slap it back into the tunnel, but there's 4 awaiting defenders there for Washed Up, just lurking.
Blue catches the enemy pass.
So slapping it back to the midfield here will be Bad Elmo, having it intercepted by Boop, but then stunning Boop, and now stunning Taco. Good punches from Bad Elmo, stunning him out, but the open goal might be conceded on the rebound. There it goes again, and now it will end. So Lone Gecko, some back-to-back 3-point shots from him to finish out this second round, 22-2. And with that said, so we'll get those scores inputted and such and figure out that whole situation there. But yeah, that will be, again, I mean, continuing to roll here for watching Weebs being handed their first defeat in 3 tries. And it was a Bad Elmo with 3 points, Steffo with 2 for Dave Stan, 1 assist apiece for Steffo, Hamster, and Dave Stan as well. And again, some good amount of saves, steals, and stuns between them all. But just couldn't quite get the efficiency, get the same degree of a scoring output that we saw in those earlier matches from today against the likes of Washed Up, who were led this time by Bad Internet with game-high 15 points and a game-high 7 assists. And game-high 30 stuns, for that matter. So MVP effort, without a doubt, for Bad Internet, by the way, although it was really everyone there contributing. I mean, 11 points from Boop, 5 assists, 3 saves. You had Lone Gecko, 10 points, 4 assists, 3 saves. And then Taco with 5 points, 1 assist, 1 save. So a little bit of everything there in the lives of Washed Up. Definitely not true to their name whatsoever. So with that, that will be the conclusion of this round robin. And we're going to reorganize for the next one in the next several minutes. So bear with us, and we'll be back real soon. All right, hello again, guys. For those who are still here and awaiting, so actually being informed over on Channel 1, they have just started this current round that we just of round robin. They just started Gecko versus Le Jambon Vert over there, and I will continue saying it that way because I can. But yes, so head over there. That match was delayed a bit apparently because waiting for some tech issues to be solved for Gecko and at least get their 3rd player back, as they were down to only 2 players for a while there, and teams not wanting it to go down that way, understandably so. So as a result, I will direct your guys' attention to go to Channel 1 and check that out. It will be, once that's over, then we'll get to the next series of matches here in this round robin. So we'll be back soon, but yeah, off to Channel 1 you go.